Okay guys, so welcome to FrightFest. How does it feel to have Barbarians as part of this?
Yeah, great. I have never been to FrightFest, but everyone I know who's been here just says it's the best festival, and it's a real honour actually, and I think it's a perfect festival for this film to be playing in. And though it's not necessarily like a horror, it's definitely got an edge to it, so I hope the audience enjoy it.
So what can people expect from the film?
Incredibly frightening.
And sexy cast.
Very frightening cast.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of like 3 acts, isn't it? Really, it starts off kind of very slowly, almost like a play, and the scenes feel very sort of dynamic, and you really get to know these relationships. And then all of a sudden, the film just completely changes on its head. I won't say too much because I don't want to give it away what happens. But yeah, it just really kind of all of a sudden accelerates to 150 mile an hour, and then from then on, it's a real sort of nail biter.
So a lot of the film hangs on the chemistry of you two, which is fantastic, and you work really well together. How did you foster that? Because you have to change quite complex ways throughout the film.
Well, we actually are both Welsh and from Cardiff, and we'd met each other before, but hadn't got to know each other that well. But I think because we're from the same place, we just clicked really quickly. He's awesome. I absolutely love him. He's become a really good friend, and it was easy to work with him, and we just had a lot of fun, didn't we? It was just, even though they're 2 characters who don't necessarily get on, it was fun to explore that. I loved it. It was one of the most enjoyable filming experiences I've had working with Iwan, definitely.
What would you say were the challenges for you both with your characters?
I think it's creating that tension and being able to maintain that sort of like build really was the thing for me. But yeah, again, I mean, working with these guys was brilliant, and we did have a lot of fun. But I think that's the sort of key, that because there's so much tension on camera, that to be able to relieve that, and then we could really trust each other and build that tension together as a company of 4 actors really, and then all of a sudden, as I was saying earlier, all hell breaks loose. What was your challenge?
Well, it's easy. It was easier for me because the film doesn't really hinge on I'm more of a supporting character. The challenge, I guess, for me was my character is so unlikable. Is to not judge him too much. Like, I had to make him in my head the hero of the piece, and so that at no point I did want to be conscious of the audience not liking him, and instead think that the audience are going to love him the most. So the challenge was kind of like making sure that he was as much of an asshole all the way through as I possibly could make him. Yeah, because there's always, there is always a little bit in the back of your head which wants to make the audience like your character. But yeah, that was my biggest challenge. The rest of it was just the laugh. Yeah.
So lastly, this was Charles's first feature film. What was he like to work with as a director? And obviously you were saying his words as well. So how was that whole experience?
Great. Yeah, I think I think the dialogue was really, really like clever and snappy, and we got a bit of time to rehearse. About a week, didn't we, before we started shooting, which was great. So we really got those words in our mouths, and it did feel often like we were doing a play. We shot a lot of it in a linear fashion, which is quite rare. Particularly the beginning, yeah. So this is like long dinner scene, which was challenging because you're just going and going and going in it, and there was very few sort of camera changes, so it was quite intense for us on set. But yeah, I think he did a fantastic job with it, and the passion that he had towards the project, really showed. It was kind of his baby, and he really cared about it so much. So he was a great director to work with. Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you guys. Best of luck with the film tonight, and I hope the screening goes well for you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.